Everyone. Unblocked is a bi-monthly event series where guests are asked questions in an AMA-style format, focusing on questions relevant to early-stage startups and blockchain technology. Unblocked is sponsored by DLab, a startup accelerator and venture studio that sits within the SOSV family. You can find out more at www.dlab.vc. We hope you enjoy the conversation.
It's my pleasure to introduce my guest today, Alex Shevchenko, who is the product manager of Rainbow Bridge and soon to be the CEO of Aurora, which is a layer 2 solution being developed by Near Protocol. Alex, welcome.
Hey, Paul, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so we were chatting a little bit about your background, and you have a PhD in both mathematics and physics. And I was just curious, before we get into Near and Aurora, what drew you to blockchain given your academic natured background?
Well, that was an interesting moment in my life. I was just working in the vacancy fair in my university. I was trying to find, I was going there to have a couple of interviews with some specific companies there. So I was doing my prep work there. And then there was some kind of strange company named Bitfury and a nice woman standing in front of it. And I saw the thing that like immersion cooling technology. And I was seeing it from my time in NVIDIA. So they were doing like immersion cooling of the graphic cards. And I thought that, yeah, this is something familiar to me. And she immediately spotted that she caught my eye, and this banner caught my eye. Yeah, and everything started. So yeah, and then it was a hook. I'm an A student, yeah. So she told me, well, it's only one person out of hundreds that actually are able to pass all our interviews and stuff like that. And I said, well, okay, challenge accepted. So that was the hook for me. Yeah, nice. Now I'm here for more than 5 years.
Yeah, and so now you're at Near. I guess it would be great if you could give the community and the people listening a little overview of what is Near and what makes it unique.
Right. So Near is a layer 1 blockchain protocol, public blockchain. It works on top of proof of stake consensus. So it means that it consumes not a lot of electricity in comparison to Bitcoin and Ethereum. And Near was made with one major idea in mind, to make blockchain scalable. Horizontally scalable. That's why Near has an internal feature of the dynamic sharding, which means that depending on the load on the blockchain, the amount of shards or independently executed pieces of the blockchain, it can scale up. And in case the load is low, obviously it can scale down. And because of this, Near is able to handle, well, literally infinite amount of transactions per second in case this is needed. So that was the major idea behind the Near protocol. And also taking into account that it was developed like 5 years after Ethereum, there are also some additional cool ideas that are incorporated there that you cannot find in Ethereum, like automatic monetization for the smart contract developers. 30% of the gas fees that users are spending for transactions, they're just transferred to the account creator or to the smart contracts account creator, just because this is it there. So it enables many interesting new monetization schemes, like built-in monetization for open source software. Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, could you just briefly explain what sharding is? Because I'm not sure a lot of people are familiar with this concept. I know that I believe ETH 2.0 is adopting some form of sharding, but it'd be great to hear in your own words what sharding is.
Right. So I will give you here an analogy that really helps people to understand what sharding is. So before this century, I would say, the CPUs were having just a single core, which means that the execution of the programs there is sequential. You execute first program, then you execute second program, and so on. This is what Ethereum and Bitcoin are. All of the computers there, all of the servers or all of the miners, they execute in absolutely the same program, and they do not do the execution in parallel. And in this century, we see that all of the CPUs are multi-core, which means that different programs can be executed in parallel. And this is absolutely the same concept with sharding. So shard means an independent piece or independent structure for execution, an independent execution environment. Literally, transactions that are sent to the sharded blockchain, they can be executed in parallel, which means that the throughput, the eventual throughput that users and developers can experience is higher than for a single threaded or single shard blockchain.
So if I'm running, I guess on Near, is it easy to run like a validator node? Like, can I just run it on a Raspberry Pi or my laptop, or are there similar hardware?
Yeah, Raspberry Pi will be not that good, but in general, Near validators are targeting a very low end, I would say, validator nodes. So just a simple instance on Amazon that will cost you, I don't know, $20 per month. This is something that
so, but if I'm running a validator, I'm collecting data from all the other nodes, I guess locally or around me, and then I'm packaging those and sending it to the Near blockchain for validation, or how does it work? Where, I guess my question is, how do I make sure I'm not validating a transaction that's already been validated or already submitted or confirmed, I guess should say.
Right. So Near execution is split into what is called epochs. One epoch is approximately 12 hours. So once you're in the current epoch, you know what shard or what type of transactions you're going to validate during the next epoch. So this is a time for your validator node to prepare. So you download from other nodes the information that you need to have in order to validate these transactions, namely the state of the smart contracts that are located in that particular shard. So you're doing the preparation. And then when the next epoch is coming in, you have now the state of this shard, and now it just the runtime tells you what transactions you need to. They're just sent into your validators, and you're just composing the blocks, and you have these transactions that are coming to these particular smart contracts that are located in your shard. So yeah, here is the relation. Smart contracts are living on some specific shard, and you are validating only the transactions that are calling these smart contracts.
Okay. And is there a concept of like fisherman or anything like that? Like I'm using a phrase from Polkadot, but
no such concept. Okay. Inside of the shard, so the amount of validators in the shard is lower than in the whole Near network. But because of but there are some additional measures that prevent people from cheating and validators from cheating. So validators are staken, there is slashing mechanism, and so on.
And so are validators chosen in a similar fashion to other, is it similar to like how in Cardano they're chosen, or even in Polkadot, or how other proof of stake blockchains?
In general, yes. So the validators are staken. They do the staking, and in order to become a validator, you need to have enough stake, right? So a pretty simple thing. The good thing about Near is that there is a concept of users being delegating their tokens to the validators. So not all of the validators have enough their own funds to be able to become a validator, right? So the stake is pretty high at the moment. It's more than 3 million Near. So it's something like 10 million US dollars, right? Not all of the people are having that amount of Near in their balances, right? So ordinary users are choosing the validator to whom they are delegating. And usually a validator take a cut on the profits. So something that you can see there is that in your wallet, in your Near wallet, you are able to choose the validator to which you are able to delegate your tokens for staking. Then the validator is taking them, you earning the profits, and the validator takes a cut of 5 to 10% in common out of this, because the validator is taking care of the infrastructure of the servers and so on.
Okay. And so I guess if you're being chosen to be a validator, you're known ahead of time that you're going to be validating the next block, right?
Right.
Is there a potential, and I'm just asking the question because I don't know, but is there a potential way for me to collude? Because if I know that there's a validator and somehow I get insanely lucky, and I know that the other 10 validators in my epic are my friends. Couldn't we collude?
Mm-hmm.
So
So
of course we'd have to get like absurdly lucky, but
yeah, yeah. So there are some measures that are protecting from this. So there was some kind of randomization, and in general, validators are the only thing like that that you will know. Well, you have only this one epoch for preparation of the collusion, I would say, and epochs they have chosen to be short enough to prevent that stuff.
right there.
But
Half
in
a day.
general, half a day, right?
Yeah.
So in general, this is like just the common problem for sharded blockchains, because in one shard you have less validators than in the whole network. So if there are like 10 validators, it is easier for you to some kind of collude.
Yeah.
But the good thing is that you cannot do in case there is even one validator that is behaving correctly, he is able to raise a claim and say that other validators have approved invalid state transition or invalid transactions or something like that. And then other validators from other shards can also check whether this is okay. And in case some validators are not behaving correctly, well, they're going to be slashed, which means that they're going to lose a portion of their stake. And obviously users who were delegating to this, users who were delegating to this validators are also going to be slashed, and users will be really upset. They're going to unstake the rest of the tokens, stake to another validator and stuff like that.
So is there a way to resolve disputes like that, where one validator is claiming one thing and another validator is claiming another, or does that happen just sort of?
It's done automatically, just because the invalid state transition means that it is not accompanied by some kind of specific transaction, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're doing something that was not scheduled by the user, but obviously in the validator, if you're running a validator node, what you can do, you can change the order of the transactions. And that's a very specific thing, and you cannot do anything with that. Especially like in Ethereum, there are also lots of concerns about this. So I guess this is something that you can do.
You're talking about MEV, right?
Not quite sure.
Where miners are just reordering transactions in the block to get better execution.
Yes.
But I guess you could, that I was reading an interesting article where it's actually, one, it's unavoidable, and two, it actually might be a good thing. But anyway, I guess regarding sharding, would you say that's the most, innovative thing that Near has? Because it seems to be pretty clear or crucial, I should say, considering that ETH 2.0 is going to be using some form of sharding, correct? Would you say absolutely. That you were first to that, and people are borrowing from you from Near those concepts, or I guess what would you say are the characteristics that make that Near brought forth that you would say were innovative?
I would say that Near sharding is one of the most innovative thing. I've seen in some kind of article that actually there was a statement from Vitalik, and he was saying that from this angle, Near is a competitor a little bit to Ethereum, right? But my personal point of view on this is that, well, we are not a competitor. We are just a playground, right? Near is smaller blockchain right now, obviously, and this is a good chance for us as a team to accelerate new technologies and deliver them faster. So we can try, we can see what is working, what is not working, and we are very, very open. So we are just every week, every engineering team at Near has a public update. Every week we're streaming to YouTube and actually saying that, hey guys, look what we are doing. This is everything that we are focusing on right now. We are really open, and we are just happy to be able to help the vertical as a whole to solve this extremely complicated problem.
Yeah, very complicated. How would you say, just quickly, how would you say your sharding solution is different from, say, Ethereum's, which might be more well known?
Well, Ethereum's is not yet there, right?
Right. Fair. That's fair. It's all in theory. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So Ethereum's, yeah, and there are actually many things that are not clear there, and Ethereum Foundation still need to figure out,
I see.
because
So
the
yeah.
the sharding is there at somewhere stage 4, stage 6, somewhere there, and now we are planning to go through stage 1, stage 2, right?
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's still a work in progress, I guess. Okay, that makes sense. How does popping back up to Stack, I guess, how does Near see itself in this ecosystem of blockchains, Polkadot, Cosmos, Ethereum, where there's multiple, there's various other blockchains that all have similar type ethos, interoperability, high throughput.
Mm-hmm.
How does Near see itself, I guess, or in this ecosystem?
Yeah, in general, near team, we are believers of the multi-chain future, I would say. And we understand that each blockchain can provide some unique opportunities to the dApps. And we are keen on building bridges, and we're not building walls, but building bridges in between blockchain. So recently, about a couple of months ago, 2.5 months ago, we have launched the thing that is called a Rainbow Bridge. And this is a bridge in between Ethereum and Near. And this is a generic bridge where people are able to bridge any information in between these two blockchains. And yeah, our community is very demanding, I would say. So for example, there is a community asked to build a bridge with Binance Smart Chain, and they even named it. Now it is named Dragon Bridge. so now
great.
we need also to build that one too.
So before we go into the Rainbow Bridge, is Near like fully live? Can people build applications on it?
Yeah, absolutely, fully live for more than half a year, or actually for 9 months or something like that.
Okay.
Fully mainnet, lots of applications. We have more than 150,000 transactions happening per day already. We have more than 200,000 accounts. And everything is booming since the bridge launch, and especially now.
So congratulations. So going on the bridge launch, I guess one thing that you mentioned a phrase that I wasn't, I just thought any bridge was similar. I have some experience dealing with like the Ren BTC bridge, just, by messing around with stuff. What do you mean by generic bridge?
Yeah, I mean that it's not only tokens that you are able to transfer over it. It's actually arbitrarily data. So for example,
I see.
A contract state, right? And any information from the contract state. You can transfer. So
got it. So if I'm staking or something like that, or whatever, or interacting with that contract, and I'm not sending value, does that make sense? Yeah. Okay.
Or for example, you can think of Chainlink smart contract, right? You can access it. You can get the price feed. So imagine that you can transfer this price feed as a piece of data to the other blockchain. And for this, you would need to have a generic bridge.
I see. And so what would you call like the Ren BTC bridge then?
I'm not fully aware of what is the architecture, but I suppose that this is more of only the bridge for the BTC, right?
Yeah. I think all I can do with the Ren BTC bridge is just send some BTC and get back Ren BTC.
Right. Yeah. So this is like asset specialized bridge.
Okay, there you go. All right. Okay, that's good to know. So on the Rainbow Bridge, that was completed. When was it launched?
It was launched on 15th of March.
I see. And the whole ethos behind it was that you wanted more interoperability, multi-chain future.
Yeah, absolutely. And also we would like to help, Ethereum ecosystem to scale, because for many Ethereum apps, there is a long tail of retail customers, I would say, that are not able to pay super high fees for the transactions. So if they would like to access DeFi, they can transfer their assets on Near and then use DeFi on Near with the transaction cost around 1 cent or something.
And so how long did it take to build?
Wow. So that the development of Rainbow Bridge started in autumn 2019. Wow. So it took more than 1 year to build that stuff.
And I guess is the Rainbow Bridge unique in the sense that it's the first generic bridge that's out there today and live, or are there other similar ones?
There are other generic bridges, but there is one specific feature of Rainbow Bridge that is not yet there in other bridges. And this is Rainbow Bridge is a trustless bridge. And by saying trustless, there is no concept of, bridge validators or some kind of multi-sig wallets included in that.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're sending your token to multi-sig wallet and then the multi-sig wallet, mints some kind of other token on the other side. The way how the Rainbow Bridge is working is literally we implemented as a smart contract near light client. So a near node that is able to verify headers, consensus as a smart contract on Ethereum. And we have built Ethereum light client as a smart contract on near. So now we connected these two networks because we are just syncing these light clients all the way. Yeah.
Interesting.
So,
yeah, because I'm just going based on my experience with Ren, but I sent BTC to a BTC wallet address, and then I had to wait a while, and then it didn't convert automatically. I had to reach out to the Ren team. Yeah, which I imagine what happened was that I guess no one signed the multi-sig or whatever. It wasn't fully trustless, so someone had to go in and send the check that the BTC was in the Ren BTC wallet, and then send me on the east side Ren BTC that corresponded. So okay,
that's correct, and you need to trust this wallet that you are sending this stuff.
Yeah.
So with our bridge, it is trustless in terms of like it's not people and it's not like something. It's just smart contracts. You send your funds or your token to the smart contract, and the smart contract emits an event that it received. It locked these tokens. And then you are able to prove the fact of this event was emitted on the Ethereum blockchain. You are able to prove this fact on the near blockchain. And then the smart contract automatically mints you a token that represents that locked token.
I see. So the near smart contract is in effect querying the Ethereum blockchain for that transaction?
No, because like we cannot query Ethereum blockchain. Yeah. What we do is that near smart contract is querying Ethereum light client that is implemented as a smart contract on near blockchain and checks, hey, did you have that header? And in this header, did you have that event or something like that? Obviously, it is built on top of the Merkle trees and all of these crypto proofs.
I see.
But in general, yeah, everything, all of the interactions obviously is happening inside of one blockchain.
And so, how long if I send 1 ETH to get, I guess I would call it an ETH, how long would that process take?
Only 5 minutes. So. So this is pretty fast thing, and everything depends literally on the finality of transactions in Ethereum blockchain, right? And the finality of Ethereum blockchain, well, 10, 15, 20 blocks. It depends on because there is no finality, right? There is some kind of empiric value, right?
Right.
So we're just taking 20 blocks. If your transaction happens and in some kind of block and you have 20 confirmations, that it is enough for us to say that there will be no rework of the network, and that you can prove the fact of this transaction and this transaction interacting with any other smart contracts on near blockchain. So usually it takes something like 5 minutes.
Okay, interesting. And so is the Rainbow Bridge being now called the Aurora Bridge? Are they one and the same, or?
Okay, so now we're touching an additional topic, Aurora, as a bigger project, right? So Rainbow Bridge, we already we're clear how this stuff is working.
Yeah.
Now what we also implemented, because it is not enough for Ethereum projects, right, to deliver scalability. What Ethereum projects also would like to have is an execution environment for their smart contracts. You cannot just take Solidity smart contracts and run on Near blockchain, because Near has separate virtual machine. It's called Near native virtual machine, right? And it works with WebAssembly and stuff like that. It's not Solidity, it's not Viper, right? So what we did in Aurora project, and this is all what Aurora is about, is actually we have taken Rust implementation of the Ethereum virtual machine that is called Sputnik VM, developed by our friends in Parity. And we implemented this as a smart contract on top of Near blockchain, which means that now we are able to take Ethereum transactions, send them to this smart contract. We call it Aurora Engine. We can send these transactions to Aurora Engine, and then Aurora Engine, being a virtual machine inside of the Near virtual machine, it is able to calculate these transactions and execute them and give the correct results of the execution. So Ethereum projects now can send their smart contracts, deploy their smart contracts on Aurora engine inside of inside of Aurora smart contract literally, and ordinary users are able to send Ethereum native transactions there, and they will get executed.
I see. So I'm sending ETH. I send 1 ETH using the Rainbow Bridge. You mint N ETH. I guess let's just use an example. So let's say I'm trying to trade on Uniswap, and let's just say Uniswap is on.
Right.
Is using the Aurora Bridge. From my end as a user, do I just send 1 ETH through MetaMask to Uni basically to trade to buy? Let's say I wanted to buy DAI.
Yeah. So if you want to do it on top of Aurora, you need to do the following thing. You need to bridge your ETH to Aurora, and for this, you can. This is a transaction on Ethereum. Right, you need to go to Aurora website, log in with MetaMask into Bridge. So you will send 1 ETH. It will get locked in the Rainbow Bridge smart contract. In 5 minutes, you will get this ETH inside of Aurora. From a user standpoint, this will look like yet another network that you're connecting. It will have different endpoints in MetaMask. And then
but it still shows up in my MetaMask. I don't need a Near wallet, for example.
No. Yeah, no. Everything. So everything that we are designing is to make an absolutely straightforward experience for users and developers. So it's still in your MetaMask. It's just on the other network. And and then you're logging into Uniswap instance deployed on Aurora, again with MetaMask, and you are able to trade it and enjoy low transaction latency and low transaction costs.
Okay, so I'm paying, and a user's just paying gas to convert to NETH, and then I'm paying Near transaction costs once I'm in, if I'm swapping from Uniswap on Uniswap, for example, I just pay Near gas costs. Do you use gas or?
Yeah, it's gas costs, but you're going to pay also this bridged ETH. So this is a very specific feature of Aurora. It is not there in any other scaling solutions. Is that, well, actually the users are going to use bridged ETH to pay for transaction fees. It will be very, very straightforward for user to see, okay, this is my MetaMask, I'm paying ETH, okay, that's cool. And the gas price is 0.1 Gwei. Okay, this costs pennies, so no problem, right? So this will be something that users will experience.
I see. So I'm paying the Near gas costs in ETH or Gwei, or right? Okay, but isn't it technically N Gwei though, right?
Well, technically, you can say it. Yeah.
So okay, so I need to. So when I'm sending, I'm just trying to. I do better with real world examples, but so when I send over money to using the Aurora Bridge, I'd have to send over a little bit more ETH than what I plan on transacting with, just to cover my gas costs, even though they might be super minimal.
Well, in general, yes, yeah. So if you want to trade 1 ETH into some kind of other token, then it's better for you to bridge a little bit more, because you also need to pay on Near some transaction fees. But the transaction fees on Near, again, 1 cent per transaction, something like that. This is what you can expect.
And then on the back end, that N ETH that's being paid for gas just automatically gets sold converted from ETH to Near, or?
Yeah, so there is a little bit more complicated thing happening there. So MetaMask is submitting the transaction to the RPC, and RPC takes this transaction, wraps it into the Near transaction, because user with MetaMask cannot send Near transactions, right? So the RPC is wrapping it into the Near transaction, sends this Near transactions to the Near network, to the Aurora smart contract. Smart contract unwraps it and does the execution. Now RPC is paying to Near protocol Near tokens, because when RPC is wrapping the transaction, it attaches some Near to pay for the gas costs. And Aurora smart contract, what it does, it calculates the Ethereum gas, EVM gas consumption, recalculates it into the NETH cost of the transaction, and transfers this NETH cost to the RPC account. So literally, user is paying an ETH gas to RPC. RPC is paying near gas to the protocol, but the second piece is completely invisible, completely transparent for the user. And this gives a perception that like you're just paying an ETH for the transaction. And that's good, because this is exactly what we wanted to do, because we want users to feel absolutely the same as on the mother chain.
I see. Okay. And so are there any lockups here? Like, for example, in my example of trying to trade ETH from DAI, could I just go in 5 minutes, 10 minutes later, leave the near, leave the Aurora bridge and go back into ETH? Or is there, because I know some layer twos have lockups, so that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, so there are no specific lockups. It's just that the bridging from near to ETH, it taken more time. And the reason for this, again, unfortunately, is the high Ethereum fees. So in the mean, bridging from near to Ethereum is taken 10 hours, because we cannot sync the near light client too often.
Literally. Oh, right, because then you'd be paying insane gas costs, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
One syncing transaction is taken right now 1.5 million Ethereum gas.
Okay. Wow.
And this is the cost that anyone can take, but unfortunately nobody except us are taking this cost.
And so it's not possible in theory to move the Aurora bridge, I guess, to another L2. It defeats the purpose, right? Like if you would run the Aurora bridge on Matic or something, right?
Well, potentially we can deploy the instance of the Aurora bridge on some kind of other network, or in between near and other network. But just remember, but we need to update this stuff, because on the other network we need to implement near light client as a smart contract. And in case this is not an EVM compatible network, that will be really, really hard, because you need to write it from scratch. So building bridges to Matic, BSC, this thing is going to be pretty simple, or XDAI, right?
And so what is, if I'm a dApp, I'm already deployed on Ethereum, what does integration look like from my perspective? Like, is it a day's work? Is it a week's work? How does
this is a day's work. Literally we have absolutely the same execution environment as in Ethereum 1.0, right? So all of the precompiles that you expect to have there, they will be there. All of the tools that are working with your code, like Solidity Compiler, Hardhat, Truffle, all of that stuff is working directly. You just change the RPC. This is the change that we are saying. You change the RPC and then you can deploy. So this is what. So we literally are saying that you don't need to integrate. You need to deploy your smart contracts, right?
Okay.
Obviously, like this is it, but the reality is a little bit more complicated, in fact, because, for example, if I'm a sushi swap, for example, and I have my sushi tokens associated with my smart contract on Ethereum. Now, if I will be deploying absolutely the same instance and absolutely the same smart contracts on Near, well, I would have an additional copy of sushi tokens, right? Which probably not the behavior that I want to have. I want users to bridge their sushi tokens and work with sushi instance on Near blockchain. So probably a little bit different behavior. But for new projects, for example, for clones of the Uniswap, they're just taking their code base and just deploying, and that's it. And actually, we have one project in the community that is doing exactly this. It's called Loliswap, some kind of bunch of Ethereum add-ons. They're not coming to calls with us. They're just forking the Uniswap version 2 and deploying it. Yeah, so good job. And anyone is able to do that stuff.
And so you mentioned it's, it'd take, at the moment it's 10 hours just because of gas costs. And I'm curious, does the upcoming improvement proposal, EIP, I think 1509, I forgot what it was, but is that going to help things, or is that more of a longer term problem that won't get solved until, let's say, E2.0 or whatever?
Yeah, it's a longer term problem, I would say. It's not only it's not the gas cost for any transactions. The biggest problem for us is the absence of EIP 665, and this is the EIP that adds as a precompile Edwards curve signature check, ED25519. So this signature is a native signature for Near. So we use it in the validators are signing with the signatures, their messages that they are signing the blocks literally. So before the moment we can check the signatures easily, we cannot do fast transactions or like fast withdrawals. However, we can so yeah, and this EIP is it was created on 2017 and still is not in the Ethereum mainnet. I don't think that that the Ethereum community is going to adapt it soon. So that's the problem for any blockchain that has this cryptography. However, we can overcome this with solutions with some kind of atomic swap approach here. So, for example, a solution can be developed that will be finalizing the transactions faster in case there is a liquidity provider. So imagine the following flow. You have 1,000 DAI and you would like to move it from Near to Ethereum. And there is and you're specifying that I'm going to pay 50 DAI to the person who is going to finalize this transfer faster, like really fast, like in next 5 minutes or something like that. And maybe there is a person who is willing to earn this 50 DAI, but on Ethereum side. So what this person is able to do is able to send the transaction with 1,000 DAI or like 950 DAI to the bridge. Mm-hmm. The bridge will say, and he will say, this person will say that I would like to fast finalize this transfer. Bridge contract will say, okay, I do not know this transfer yet because I need to, syncing happen and it is not yet there, but I'm going to forward these 950 tokens DAI to the specified user, and I will take and I will record the fact that somebody wanted to fast finalize this. And at the moment when bridge is synced, the user, this liquidity provider, is able to send the second transaction and say, hey, this is the transfer that I actually fast finalized. It will check, the bridge contract will check and say, okay, yeah, cool. So you will get additional 50 DAI as if that fee that was specified by a user. So yeah, this is something that can happen. Yeah,
but there would have to be within a specified time, right?
Literally no. So the user, what we believe what will happen is actually anyone is able to do it. Yeah. So the user is not specifying who can finalize the transfer. And because of this is an open market. So literally a user, when he sends the transfer, he says, anyone who want to earn this fee for fast finalization, you are able to finalize the transfer, and that's it.
Okay. Going back, the Edwards curve signature is an algorithm that Near uses, right? To be clear.
Right.
Yeah, and it's, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like how Bitcoin uses SHA 256.
It's like Bitcoin and Ethereum using SAP keys. SAP
okay.
to 556 K1.
Okay.
This is the algorithms for digital signatures. SHA 256 is the hashing algorithm.
I see. Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so, what was, going back to the Aurora bridge? What was the hardest part about building, or the most challenging part about building this bridge? So just for the sake of being super clear in terminology, right? So Rainbow Bridge is just the bridge that connects Ethereum and Near. Now we've built an Aurora bridge. It is using this Rainbow Bridge, but what it does, it actually transfers your tokens inside of Aurora smart contract, right? So the most challenging part of the Rainbow Bridge was actually checking the signatures, because there is no precompile for it. So we need to implement our own cryptography for checking Edwards curve signature as a smart contract, right? So we did like here, we did already 2 mistakes. You never implement your own cryptography and you never do it as a smart contract. So we did it actually. And this is a very complicated low-level smart contract with 1.2
like 1,600 lines of code, and
Wow.
it was not written by a human. We have written a program that was generated this smart contract, actually. So super complicated piece of work. Nobody ever created that stuff. And yeah, it's open source. If you want, you can take it and use it. No problem.
Nice. No, apologies. I actually meant, it was a slip. I meant the Aurora.
Yeah, sure. No problem.
Yeah. So I guess, so people have some context. What would you say, layer 2 is very popular today in Ethereum. What would you say, sets apart Aurora from, Optimism, Polygon, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah. Well, I have here 3 points, I would say, or even 4 points. So first one is the ultimate compatibility. No other solutions have the combination of the true EVM. So for example, with Optimism has what is called OVM, optimistic VM, right? And the second part in this combination is the base token. So we use ETH as a base token. No other solution is actually using ETH as a base token. So we are going the path of the ultimate compatibility, I would say. We're not cutting here any corners. The second thing is having a trustless generic bridge. Again, one of its kind, and a pretty fast one, right? So we're here in some points of view on par with Optimism, because Optimism they even do not need to have a bridge because of the way how this thing is structured, but it is pretty slow. So the withdrawal thing or the finality of the transaction is taken 7 days literally.
Yeah.
Or for example, with Matic, they have a multi-sig bridge, right? So this is a different thing here. For many, multi-sig bridges are absolutely okay. We're just saying that this is a nice feature that we have, right? This is the second thing. The third thing is the governance. So right now we are assembling, or like we are trying the community to assemble, or we are trying to help the community to assemble the DAO for governance of Aurora. So we understand that we cannot do the governance of this project alone. It will be really, really dumb decision. So we invite in all of the Ethereum projects to come on board, join, have a seat in a DAO, have some kind of, it's a bit of skin in the game, I will say here, and being able to influence the development direction. Because we feel that this is very important, and the Ethereum community is probably the most valuable asset of Ethereum, right? And we want to make this project, shared by the Ethereum community. We do not want to take, advantage of it only us. Yeah. And the last but not least, again, we already touched base on this, is sharding, right? So we are the solution who are saying that by solving the scalability issues, not only that are in front of the Ethereum community today, but also giving them a promise that this is something that is going to be solved forever.
No, that makes sense. I guess, by the way, I just want to remind the audience, if you guys have questions, just dump them in and I'll ask them. Would you say that so what about for solutions, not layer 2 solutions built on Ethereum, but things like what, I believe it's Moonbeam, Bridge, I forgot what it's called, that Polkadot has built.
Moonbeam.
Yeah, Moonbeam. And then I believe Cosmos has a solution, but I completely forgot what it was. So how would you say
is running on top of the Cosmos?
Yeah. So what would you say, how does Aurora differentiate from, Moonbeam, for example?
Well, so that's the same thing. So everything that I was saying here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There are also additional solutions. And again, saying we're pretty friendly. We're friends with these projects. There is a project Clover recently concluded the raise, the token sale, actually, very successful token sale. They are also building an EVM compatible execution environment on top of Polkadot ecosystem. In good connections also with Polygon, right? So yeah, it's just like everybody are trying to help Ethereum here, and it's just take a look at tech. So my advice to everybody will be take a look at tech, There are different proposals there. Maybe Aurora will be something that is interesting for you, or maybe not. So
yeah. And so what other what other ecosystems or blockchains is next for, I guess, Aurora or Rainbow Bridge?
Yeah. So there are some grants, and the community is actually building bridges. I believe one is built right now with Cosmos in general. We have also a partnership with Injective Protocol, and these guys are building also interoperability solutions. So they are going to build a connection. They will connect near to their ecosystem. But in general, I want to say here that blockchain vertical, blockchain ecosystem in general, we are standing in front of the next problem, I would say, with interconnecting of the blockchains. And this is a problem that cannot be solved by a single blockchain community. And the problem is the consistency of assets and the consistency of tokens. So the problem here is the following. Imagine that you have DAI and it is bridged to near. Now you have NDAI, and there is one-to-one correspondence in between this. And you have BSC. You bridge DAI to BSC. There is a BDAI, right? A BSC version of DAI. And then you bridge this BDAI to near because we have built this additional bridge with BSC. And now it is NBDAI, right? So now you have on near blockchain two different tokens, NDAI and NBDAI. Are they different? Well, not really, because they represent only one DAI on Ethereum network. But this is from one point of view. From the other point of view, these tokens are really different because they are relying on the security of different mechanisms. So NDAI is relying only on Rainbow Bridge, Ethereum network, and Near network, while NBDAI is relying also on other bridges and also on BSC network, right? So maybe the cost of NBDAI is a little bit lower, right? But this is very
sorry. What do you mean by cost of NBD being lower?
Yeah, I mean that there is a higher risk than in this long chain of bridging something is going to go wrong.
Okay, yeah, invert. Okay, got it. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So, but this is very inconvenient for a user, right? Because when you are looking when I'm looking in my wallet and I see $100 bill there, it doesn't matter how I got it. I mean, I'm located in Ukraine, but what was the path for the $100 bill to come to my wallet? I do not want to think about this, right? And here is the problem. So now we need to first some kind of track the transition of the funds, and to allow for these risks and all this stuff. From the other point of view, we need to make a convenient environment for users. Mm-hmm. There is one intermediate solution to this problem, and is actually introducing AMMs that are going to trade NDAI into NBDAI and stuff like that, and then the market will decide. But once you connect, I don't know, 5-6 networks, just because the assets can go in circles and you are not able to figure out how it is done, there will be not enough liquidity to allow for small slippage when you're going to trade this stuff. And again, this will cause lots of problems for the users. So intermediary.
So when you say not enough liquidity, you mean not enough liquidity in each of the different blockchains?
In the AMMs in each of the different blockchains.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Because imagine there are 5 networks, and there is just a countless amount of the same DAI, but with the different paths that they have bridged near. And now you need to introduce liquidity pools in between all of them.
Yeah.
And you just do not have that much liquidity. And this is the real problem, right? So I invite everybody, through this podcast, I invite people from different networks that are building bridges to come and join. Let's organize some kind of round table or something. Let's discuss this. It's not a simple thing, and the sooner we will start these discussions, the better. Because we are just in the vicinity of this problem.
I see. And is that I guess, is that like the grand vision for Aurora, is that you've created this cooperative in a sense, where it facilitates communication across various blockchains, not only communication, but exchange of value?
Right. So this is one of the big questions that I would like to ask Aurora DAO to help me with. This is the reason why I invite an Ethereum ecosystem to join Aurora DAO, right? So we understand that the pack of engineers cannot decide on the standard for that stuff, right? It's better to bring on board to this discussion lots of smart people and hear different opinions on how this can be solved, right?
I see. And so when do you plan on, launching the token? How is the token going to be launched? I guess is what I would ask. And I guess what's the, I guess the use case for the token is the governance of Aurora, choosing what other bridges to build or XYZ, but I was curious if there's any other use cases outside of that.
Yeah, so Aurora doesn't have a token right now. Yeah, and to be clear, Aurora as a smart contract is already launched for like 3 weeks now. So it is there. And there is no token there. There is no internal token since we are using for the fees bridged ETH, right? Yeah, and this will be the question to the DAO. So the DAO need to be formed, and then the DAO is going to decide on the token. From my point of view, there is a big deal of there is like lots of sense in creating a governance token there, because like the world is moving into the DAOs, right? We see the DAOs popping up everywhere, and this is for the reason because this is aligned with the vision of the decentralization, right? You cannot keep things centralized in the blockchain space right now. Yeah, so that's why we're doing the DAO, and we do not want to launch the token before the DAO formation because we feel that this is not going to be fair. Like we created a token and then like what's then, and then we are creating the DAO, and the DAO is doing what?
Yeah, no, that
so
makes
like
sense.
this is a major decision, right? So that's why we want this to be held by the DAO.
I see. But I imagine that Near or the Near Foundation or whatever it may be is going to be holding some outsized position here. Maybe not greater than 50%, but 10, 20%.
I think that less. It's up to the DAO to decide. Obviously, Near Foundation was literally the angel investor in this project. But again, token inception, token distribution, for which initiatives token are going to be used, this is completely up to the DAO. Yeah. So we are here again. We are not cutting corners with any of the architecture decision, with any of the governance decision. I think that we are doing the right job from that point of view.
Yeah, that makes sense. What are the things that you're working on at Aurora that you hope to be shipping in the next, let's say, 3 months or so?
Okay, so good question. So next 3 months is actually summer. So we are mainly focusing on the formation of the DAO and launching the DAO, and most probably talking through the tokenomics and how the token is going to work. Again, up to the DAO, all of the decisions. But yeah, I think that it will take some time.
Great. And so you launched, it's been a couple of weeks since you launched. How's that gone? Did it go the way you expected?
More or less okay. Community is pretty, they're reacting good. I see lots of interests from all of the different places to Aurora. We now have a partnership with Dodo, with SushiSwap. So both of these projects, they have said that they're going to deploy their solutions on top of Aurora. We have partnership with 1inch, with Ampleforth. So Ampleforth also was mentioning that this is something interesting to them. And we have community, like smaller projects or like community initiatives like this LollySwap thing, like just super funny. But yeah, guys are developing stuff. Guys are bombarding us with some kind of issues that they have found in how RPC is working and things like that. And yeah, that's good. I'm really happy to have active community here. Obviously, we are pretty small. We are not, a major competitor to Matic or to some kind of other solutions right now, because we do not have that, in that metrics, TVL and stuff like that. We don't have it right now, but we have cool tech, and companies are spotting this, and not only companies, also some major VCs. For Aurora, for the operational company, for the developers, we're actually doing an invest round here right now. I'm just closing it and finalizing all of the small things related to it. And yeah, lots of activity, lots of people that are willing to take part in this invest round and help the project. Unfortunately, cannot accommodate everyone. We are like oversubscribed, X3 oversubscribed.
Good place to be.
Yeah.
So I guess
issue to tackle.
Yeah, good issue. It's always a good problem, and I'm sure you're excited to get that in the rear view, because, as I'm sure you're aware, raising money is like a full-time job, and you can't
Right.
build product and raise money at the same time. It's hard.
Right.
So I guess with my last question, I guess I would ask, how could we be helpful, to anyone who's listening, to the community? How can we be helpful? How can people participate?
Yeah, so the best thing that you are able to do, so for the devs, I can tell you that you can go to the Aurora website, aurora.dev, as simple as that. You will be able to find there on the website additional information about the project. You will be able to find every week weekly updates. So every week on Friday, we are actually shipping some new stuff. So this is inside of our ideology, how we are working as a team. On Monday, we are deciding on the priorities. We are saying what we are going to ship, and on Friday we are just shipping it. so this is our cycle. Every week we have some kind of release. So you can find information about this stuff on the website. And if you're a developer, you also can take a look at the Aurora docs. There are tutorials there. There are RPC endpoints listed there. So you can just try it out with all of your smart contracts that you have already. You do not need to write anything else. You just change your RPC endpoints. You can go check the tutorials how to do it, and you can try it out. And if this is something that is interesting to you, if you think that your users can enjoy lower fees and faster transaction confirmation times, or maybe even just the fact that you were not able to launch your use case on Ethereum because of the high transaction fees and low throughput, maybe you can explore now again your use case, and maybe you can launch it on top of Aurora. Who knows? So this will be the most good thing that you can do with the project. And in case you find any issues or you would like to share your feedback, you can do it in our public channels, or you can just go and write the truth of your experience in Twitter, and yeah, that will be cool.
Great. Well, thank you very much for your time today. It was great to talk about generic bridges and Aurora and layer 2 solution in your layer 2 solution. So yeah, thank you very much for your time today.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. You too. It was a very deep and intense discussion.